Welcome to the XS Manchester Football Social with me, Joe. It is 6 p.m. on Thursday and things are about to change. XS Manchester has been taken over by one of the greatest YouTube channels in the country. They're called FullTimeDEVILS and they're going to be here every week on a Thursday talking everything Manchester United. We're over the moon to welcome Gaz and Webby to the show. Gents, good evening.
Good evening, Joe.
How are we?
You said one of the greatest YouTube channels.
Should have said the greatest.
The greatest.
Of course I should have. So, that was only one more thing to do, and it is for you to get in touch tonight. We want you to call us 0345 111 7625. Right, I'll get that. Right, get a pen and paper. You ready? 0345 111 7625. It's important to understand it's not going to cost you any more, this call, so just give us a call. It's just a typical landline number, and if you've missed that, head over to our Twitter and you can see the number there. You can text us 87711. That is 87711, or just find us on social media. FullTimeDEVILS are FullTimeDEVILS, and XS Manchester are XS Manchester. Now, this is the FullTimeDEVILS XS Manchester Football Social. Gents, how are we?
Good. Fabulous.
So, this is what it's going to be like every Thursday.
So, I tell you what, you've kitted out the studio brilliantly as well. It's like a sea of red in here.
Yeah, for people who don't know, this is being all filmed right now, and our beautiful faces, Webby and Gaz, are going to be on YouTube. So if anyone's missed the show, they can come and check us out of what's going on. The studio looks absolutely lovely. So let's get down to it. Right, so, Webby, it's time for you to get something off your chest. Yeah. Over to you.
Yeah, well, obviously, being match-going Reds, when we've been unfortunate to not be in the Champions League for a few years, and for me, the Champions League, it's like Tom without Jerry, without United being in it. You know, we've got back in it. I said on various channels, on FullTimeDEVILS, this was the biggest transfer window in the club's history, and Mr. Woodward has got to do his business now. And then a few weeks ago, I'm watching a rugby, and he's sat in New Zealand. You know, he should be over here now. He'll sign you a great deal on new sponsorship for tyres and chocolate bars.
Tractors.
But he's got to... And it's for me, you look at David Gill. Now, some people didn't like David Gill. He got the business done early. He got what Fergie wanted most of the time and got it in early. Now, I said to you before the show, we're still 2 players short for me to have a right good go at this league. 2 quality players. Now, Mourinho's given him his list. He's gone on holiday. And he's not delivered. Now, for me, Woodward's out of his depth. How long is he going to continue? He's at the biggest club in the world. Now, surely there's got to be somebody there to check over this man. The man's not doing it for me. You know, it's the biggest transfer window for Mourinho. He's had his year to look at his players, who he wants and who he doesn't want. And for me, Woodward's let us down. Now, hopefully I can come back on here in a couple of weeks and say he has done the business, but you got to get him in nice and early. The league starts Sunday, and for me, he's failed by getting only 3 out of the 4 people the manager wanted. So for me, there's me moan. Prove me wrong, Ed Woodward.
You know what annoys me as well when you're talking about Ed Woodward there. People give him people say that he was great last season because he signed the likes of Paul Pogba, and I'm just thinking. Yeah, but the negotiating didn't exactly last long, did it? He just walked in, and you can proper imagine he can't barter in any way. Like he says 90 million, they say 100, and then he says 95. It's like it feels
he goes up.
It feels like he doesn't really know what he's doing. I agree with Webby.
He's out of his depth now. Prove me wrong, Mr. Woodward. I know you're listening in your mansion. Prove me wrong that you can go out and get what the manager wants, but if you don't, you've failed in my eyes.
So does Ed Woodward have a responsibility if the season doesn't go to plan? Does then people get a bit angry towards the back end of the season?
No, the manager said he wanted 40. Now, I know the transfer market's gone a bit silly, what I said about the price what Watford paid for the Burnley striker. But Mourinho's given him a list, probably not just 4 players, or maybe 6 or 7, but get me 4 out of them. And then to see him watching a rugby game in New Zealand when he should be signing players... Please, you're not doing your job. What you're doing over there, you should be signing players and making us be the most successful team in England again. And you're waving a flag at a rugby game. Now, for me, he's not done the job. Prove me wrong, Mr. Woodward.
Well, there's the getting you off your chest. Back next week. I hope it's something a bit more positive next week because I want a 4-0 win against West Ham. Guys, we've also having another thing every week where you bring us a bit of a smile.
It's got a great name as well.
I'll let you say the name. Gaz, what is it you're going to be talking about?
Well, the name for this particular section of the show, we've gone for Nice Juan.
It took us 4 hours, that. 4 hours in that board meeting.
4 hours is
What do we
generous.
call it? What do we call it?
4
Nice
hours
one.
is generous.
So what is nice one?
Just talking about all the nice little stories that have been going on with Man United at the minute, especially like sort of away from football, behind the scenes sort of thing. So this week I thought, since we came up with that genius name, nice one, it's got to be Juan Mata, hasn't it, for the first week? I mean, what he's done with his wages, what he's announced over the last 7 days, where he's giving 1% of it to charities. I think that it's an amazing thing to do, and in an age where people slag off footballers left, right and centre, I think it's an incredible thing to do. And also, on top of that, the fact that he's encouraging other footballers to do it as well. Because even if just like 10 other footballers do it, that's like an astronomical sum of money, isn't it?
So people say, oh, it's only 1%, but they earn a lot of money, these footballers, don't they? So 1% would be such a great deal to whatever charity it's going to.
You can't make some people happy. You can't make some people happy. Some people moan about footballers earning too much, and then they say, all right, we'll give a bit to charity, and they're still not happy.
Yeah. Just say, well, why are you giving 1%? Give 10%. You know, he's doing something. Yeah. You just can't help but love Spanish John. You know what I mean? He's a great bloke. And he's just so adorable. He's a top player, and he does things, and you always see him on the telly doing stuff for charity with the United Foundation. It always seems to be him there with another player. And then at Christmas there, he was opening all the presents with the kids, and it's great to see now. Imagine if every footballer in the Premier League is 1%.
It's mad.
You know, all the charities, what would benefit for it. Now, he's pushing for it, but you know quite well you might get another 1 or 2. But every Premiership football player, give 1% in, and then look at all what would make a better world for everyone to live in.
Exactly.
He's a lovely guy, and he says a lot about United and what they are. Does he have a place in the team, or is he always on the bench?
Go on, Webby.
I'd play him, week in, week out.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd start him. Not saying he doesn't finish a lot of games, but people just thought when Mourinho come with him selling us to United, that was a great bit of business by Chelsea. They virtually doubled the money. They had players in that position, and Mourinho felt he could let him go. Mourinho comes to United, the first thing people say, oh, Mata's off. Now, he's not off. He's very integral to our season next year, Mata. If Mata has a good season, then we have a good season. He's that good.
He's that good.
So let's see, I'd play him every week, week in, week out, play him behind Lukaku. Definitely.
Well, so that was where we're getting things off his chest, and that was nice one. Every week here on the Full-Time Devils Takeover, we'll be talking about that. And we've got a text in from Mandy from Swindon. And now, Mandy, I'm sort of judging if you're a City or United fan here, says, do you really think we can compete with the noisy neighbours whilst we're playing boring defensive football? I want attack, attack, attack. Do you see Mourinho changing his style of play?
I understand what Mandy's saying there. I mean, last season at times it was a little bit, but it was nowhere near the level that it's been at over the past few years. I don't think at all. I think it was a little bit of an improvement. Just maybe the results weren't there. And when you say boring defensive football, I kind of disagree with that. I don't think it was like that last season. I think it was just not finishing the chances that we were making.
I'd say 90% of the games we drew at Old Trafford, who got man of the match? The other team's keeper.
Exactly.
You know, it was just one of those. Most teams who played against us last year, their goalkeeper had their best game of the season. Now, we did miss chances. I've got no qualms about next year. I don't agree with what she's saying. We wasn't born. I think teams come to Old Trafford, if they get a point, it's like a victory for them. Obviously, the draws were disappointing. Like the old game, and was it the Bournemouth game when they were down to 10 men, which we should have won. But obviously teams try harder against United because they're the biggest team in Britain. You know, if they get a point at Old Trafford or get man of the match, that's putting 5 million on that player's head, you know.
I always think, imagine being a fan of one of these clubs that were like towards the bottom of the Premier League, and you see them play naff every single week. Players don't look interested. Then they come to Old Trafford and they put 100% of their effort in, and they get a result. And would you, if I was one of those fans, I wouldn't be ecstatic at that. I'd be saying, why aren't you doing this every week?
Why aren't you doing it every week? I remember the West Brom, speaking to a West Brom fan the other year when they beat us, and he said he couldn't believe it. He said 2 weeks previous, they were rubbish.
Yes.
And he just said, we should think we're playing Man United every week, then we could actually one day. This fan was going home and away with us. He said, I'd love to see West Bromwich Albion in Europe. Maybe just for 1 or 2 games, he said. I pay me hard-earned money. I said, but they've cheated me. Now, that's how he felt, and he was saying it from the heart. He felt cheated because he played so well against us, but the week before against someone else, he got done 4 or 5-0, and he wasn't happy. So we're quite lucky in that thing. We've seen us lift cups. We've seen us win leagues. And you've got to feel how these other supporters, because they pay the money out like us.
Yeah. So this is another story just creeped up. That defender Foster Mensah has joined Crystal Palace on a season-long loan. Great move. Is
plenty of football? That's what they need.
Plenty of football
needs to play. If you look at him, under Van Gaal brought him in. We'd heard about him. We'd seen him in reserves. And he seemed to get punished for giving that penalty away at Wembley against Everton, which Lukaku missed. We've never seen him again.
Yeah.
Said he was injured. He wasn't injured.
Yeah.
It just seemed, and for the kid there, that's going to knock his confidence. Great move. He should play week in, week out at Palace and come back to us a better player.
As long as we've got a plan for him, as long as it's not one of those Chelsea loan outs where they disappear and never come back again. I mean, I think Chelsea have got players who have been on loan for like 6 years. Yeah. If Jose's got this idea in his head, which a lot of Man United fans do, that he goes to Crystal Palace, gets games week in, week out, proves how good he is, comes back to United, and next season, I think without doubt, be an important part of the team and an important squad player.
We want to know who is the greatest signing this summer for United. Who is the most important signing? Also, where you think United are going to finish in the league, and if you could sign anyone else to strengthen the squad, being realistic, who would it be and why? Gaz, I'll hand over to you. Let's be realistic.
Yeah, realistically, I think. Well, I'll talk about who I think we can sign in the future in a sec. But in talking about the actual current signings, I think I'm very unsure about a lot of them. I mean, I think back to last summer, and when we signed Eric Bailly, I remember thinking, the only stuff that I've seen of this guy is 10-second clips on Twitter of him getting skinned by Messi and Ronaldo and things like that, and him giving the ball away and giving away goals. And I'm thinking, oh, what a nightmare. And then he was our best player last season. Yeah. I think definitely our best new signing. So this season, I don't want to make too much of a quick judgment about the players that we've signed. However, on the face of it, from what we've seen from pre-season, Lindelof looks a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
A little bit shaky. And I probably wouldn't trust him as our first team, relying on him centre-half going into the new season. Matic looks very tidy, but he is going to be that tidy player who puts in, 7, 8 out of 10 performances every single week. So if I was to put a banker on who I think is going to be our best signing, I would say Matic. But Lukaku, obviously with the money we've spent on him, people are going to underrate his season in the same way that they did to Pogba last season, because Pogba had a good season last season. He changed a lot of games and he was important for us. But people weren't screaming about it because of that hefty price. And it'll be the same with Lukaku, I think. Unless he's scoring 40 goals in the Premier League come end of the season, people won't rate him.
Were you worried about Lukaku?
No, proven. He scored, 25 last season with Everton. In an average team, no disrespect to Everton. No, I think he'll miss a few, but he'll also score a few. He proved that the other night. He should have scored that chance and he pops up with a rebound to get us back in the game. No, even the kid Lindelof, I think he'll come good.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll start, but the only problem is who starts with Bailey. For me, Smalling sometimes. Well, I thought Smalling had a good game the other night. He's been unfairly criticised for me. I'm fairly criticised in some games. I like Phil Jones if he can stay fit, but that's a big if.
Big if.
Very big if. But I think personally, he'll go with Smalling on Sunday against West Ham, probably to like the threat of Carroll if he plays, because that's all West Ham will do. They'll hoof it up to Carroll. But Matic, proven winner. It's like he's been there. He's only played, 1.5 games. It looks like he's been there 4 seasons. Quality player.
Where do we need 1 or 2 in? Is our striking force, is it done? We don't need any more additions to that, do we?
I think we need wingers.
Okay.
I definitely think we need wingers. I think we need a winger somewhere. Not even to sort of improve on the players that we've already got, but just to sort of give us other options in the squad. Because I feel like when people are putting out their favourite, their best United 11 going into this season, a lot of people are putting like players like Mata on the wing and Mkhitaryan on the wing and Marshall on the wing and Rashford on the wing. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm just thinking, they're not wingers. And in some games, you want an out-and-out winger who's just going to fling crosses in constantly and sprint down that line. And I don't think we've got anyone like that, really.
So be realistic then. You need a winger. Who would you get?
Realistically, I mean, everyone was talking about Perisic, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think that he's some unbelievable player who's gonna have a fantastic season. But when you need an out-and-out winger, he gives us that option. That's just my opinion. Anyway.
If you look at the Perisic, I've only seen clips of him, But if he was that good, wouldn't Madrid be looking at him in Barcelona and even probably City?
Yeah.
For me, the bits I've seen, he looks good, but I honestly think that I'd love a wing at United. I was brought up on Steve Coppell, you know what I mean, when I started going out and out class winging, and he had Mickey and Gordon Hill and then Kanchelskis and Sharp. But don't you think the days of out and out wingers have gone now? You look at Valencia flying at full-back. For me, we need a left-back.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
We need a left-back.
I mean, if it was up to me, we'd be playing Luke Shaw. We would have been playing him all last season as well, and when he came fit, obviously. I thought, looking at the players that played at left-back last year, he was the only one who wasn't... Well, he was decent. He was the only one who was decent. I thought Darmian was so sketchy at times. It's so obvious that he's right-footed. Mm-hmm. Not just going forward where he's got to stop and put it onto his right foot, but going back as well. He always wants to make a tackle on one side. And I don't rate Darmian at left-back. I think that Daley Blind, controversial maybe, but I think he was one of our worst players last season at left-back, centre-half. I think if we've got Daley Blind, we should play him in midfield. And yeah, if it was up to me, I'd go out and get a left-back, because we know Rojo's injured for a little bit, and to be honest, I think that he's probably one of our two best centre-halves as well, so I'd rather see him here. If Rose is available, mate, get him. I mean, you'll pay over the odds, but that's football. That's
true. You mentioned that you're worried when you see Rashford and Martial on the wing, etc. So, who's in our starting 11 up front then? Are you worried that there's going to be a lot of times where you see Martial and Rashford, Lingard on the bench?
To be honest... if they're going to play Rashford and Martial, it's not that I have a problem with it. It's just week in, week out, you're going to need different options in certain games. I mean, if I was to put the best 11 out now, then I'd put Martial on the left-hand side. Mm-hmm. But I do think that sometimes we need more of an out-and-out winger, to be honest.
Do you see anyone's sort of career taking a knock this season? Martial, Rashford, Lingard?
I think it's a massive year for Martial. I thought last year, obviously after he wasn't as good. He didn't play as many games, which he'd like to do. For me, Rashford has got to play down the middle. Your pace frightens defenders. You look at a cup match at Chelsea when we was down to 10 men and he had the two best chances because the pace got him through. Now, for me, all right, he seems to like to play on the left. He'd probably play next for United to get a game, But for me, it's a massive year for them too. Do I think anyone else? I just think Martial. I just think this year, if you play him down, look at his first season down the middle.
Yeah.
What great player! But is he going to go with that? Lukaku's going to play every game. Well, most of the big matches. Now it's down to them two to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and give the manager something to think about, because I think them two would work well together.
Yeah, big season then, and obviously we're at the start of it. So an important thing to do is this is where we can always look back in May and think how stupid we were. Predict what United are going to do for the rest of the season. Now, Webber, you said something before the show, and you said that anyone that finishes above City win the league.
That's correct. The City have bought well this year. Now, it breaks my heart to say it, but they've bought some very, very good players. Maybe what we could have done with the kid Mendy from Monaco, great left-back. For 50 million, that's a going rate, and they bought the other kid from Monaco, Silva, another absolute great player. Now... And it hurts me to say, the team who finishes above City will win the league. I think we can win the league. If we get a couple more in, we can challenge. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be very, very hard. You've got to aim for top four now. You've got to be in that Champions League. End of story. It's nice to win the pot at the end of the season, but you've got to be in that top four to get in the Champions League. So get us a couple more in, and we'll still be there and thereabouts in April.
Guys, do you agree?
Jose's been given all the tools that he needed this summer to challenge for the title this year, without doubt, and last summer as well. You look at what he's done at the club so far, and you just think this season now he's in the perfect position to challenge for the title. And if he doesn't, it's a massive disappointment. However, we were talking before, weren't we, about what the first team's going to be when we go into the season, what our first 11's going to be, and you were talking about players like Smalling and things like that, and I'm just thinking, you're not going to win a league with players like that at the back. It's just not going to happen. And then people will bring up Leicester. But, it's just not going to happen, I don't think, especially when you look at what City have spent. I mean, I hear Man United fans at the minute, Man United fans like us, sort of criticising how much money City have spent on defenders and fullbacks. And I'm just in my head thinking, but 6 months ago we were laughing at them for having rubbish fullbacks. So... what they've done completely makes sense. It's a complete right thing to do. I wish we did it.
Yeah.
I wish we did it.
So that's the Premier League, and you're both thinking top four?
Yeah, you've got to look at top four.
I think top two.
Top two.
Top two. It's got to be.
There.
Oh, are we doing a prediction? Or,
yeah, go on then. Gaz,
prediction. I'll say third. I don't think we're quite there, but anything below second is a disappointment.
Second, third. I'd love to say we'd win the league. Let's come back in a few weeks when they win the shot. We've got a couple of more bodies in.
Yeah.
You never know, but you know what I mean. I think we will do well if we don't get a lot of injuries in key positions. We can't lose the likes of Pobcroft for a long time, and for me, the big one who's going to be a good year this year, I've got a feeling, is Mkhitaryan.
Yeah,
he's got to get a good run in the team.
I don't think you could injure Pogba if you tried.
Do you see us making any sort of noise in the Champions League?
Oh, mate, it's one of them where I think back to the past when I've laughed at Arsenal fans because they celebrate getting into the Champions League and then they always go out in the round of 16, and I've always been like, what's the point in qualifying for it then? So, in a way, I sort of think we need to gauge what our level is in that competition, because I think it's been a while and since we've properly had a go at it. And I think we just need to see whereabouts we are. The Real Madrid game in the Super Cup wasn't a proper indication, but we were completely outclassed. I know some people say it's a friendly, but the way that they were playing and the way we were playing was ridiculous in comparison. So I just think, let's see where we are in the group stage. Let's obviously we've got to get through that, but then from there, anything else is a bit of a bonus, really.
Yeah, we've got to go out of the group stage. That's obviously we're going to be in pot 2, so we're going to get a big boy.
Yeah.
Which bring it on, sometimes when we get the bigger teams, it makes us play better. There's nothing better than Old Trafford under the lights, Champions League, flag music playing and the kids waving the flags. And we've missed it for 3 years. It's back now, so let's have a good go. Let's get out of the group. Let's see who we get. And just like you're saying, anything after the group's a bonus for me. It's going to take us a few years to get to that level again. That Europa League, it's different than the Champions League. It proved that the other night, because for 40, 50 minutes in my house, it was like a cat playing with an half-dead mouse on that pitch. It was behind the pillar stuff, and Madrid could have just turned it on. Yeah. And you look at, if you've just seen them scored at full time, you think it's a close game, but it wasn't. For 65 minutes, it's like they had an extra 3 or 4 men on the pitch. True. And it wasn't embarrassing, but it was upsetting to see that we could get nowhere near them. So let's get the group stage out and let's see how far we go.
Yeah, on the show every week, we're going to trail ahead to the game that's going to happen on the weekend. Our first game of the season is against West Ham. You might think we lined up a West Ham player to have a chat to. No, we've done something better. Webby, we're going to have a chat with you afterwards about your mascot journey. You were a mascot last weekend. Last weekend?
No, a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah, so whatever team United are playing on the weekend, we're going to have a chat, a little special exclusive chat here on XS Manchester to their mascot. Now, we play West Ham, and it's Hammerhead this time. Trust me, this is great. Hammerhead had a little chat with me before. This is XS Manchester, it's the Football Social, and every week we're going to trail ahead to who United are playing on the weekend, and we're going to have a little exclusive chat with their mascot. Now, obviously, on the weekend we're playing West Ham, which means on the line now should be West Ham's mascot, Hammerhead. Hammerhead, are you there?
Hello, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm well, mate. Can we say your real name, Hammerhead?
I'd rather you didn't. When I put the shark head on, I become Hammerhead. That's all I am.
Has it always been your dream to be Hammerhead?
In a way, yeah. I remember the first football match I went to watch West Ham with my dad when I was a kid, and before the players came out came the Hammerhead, the previous Hammerhead, and the crowd went mental, and I thought, that's the job for me, that. When
the game's over, the full-time whistle goes, what do you do with the costume? Do you ever take it home? Do you wear it around the house?
I actually made it myself, so it belongs to me, not the club.
Oh, right.
I wear it quite a bit. I find, like with most acting, I'm very method. I have to become the character, so I'll wear it 2 or 3 days a week. I'll go for runs in it to make sure I'm match fit for every Saturday. Can't be letting the team down. So yeah, I wear it sometimes. Sometimes I wear it. My girlfriend likes it when I wear it, but I won't get into that.
Right? Okay. Yeah. We'll stay away from that. Is the perks of being, as well as seeing all the 3 o'clock kickoffs at West Ham's ground, is there any other perks of being the sort of Hammerhead mascot?
I get a 10% discount at the bar.
That's a good one. Do you wear stuff underneath the Hammerhead costume?
No, it just goes me, and I become one with the shark.
Have you got a little prediction for West Ham against United?
3-1 West Ham.
3-1 West Ham. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an exclusive interview with Hammerhead. Hammerhead, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, that was our exclusive chat there with Hammerhead. We'll be doing that every week. So Cyril the Swan will be our guest next week.
I was proper expecting then just like a shark with a really bad Danny Dyer accent, and he was so eloquent.
He takes his job very seriously, doesn't he?
Not with that prediction. I think he's been over the head with it.
What's he doing?
To be honest,
West Ham.
Let him all dream.
So Webber, you were a mascot. Who for?
I was Salford City's mascot. It's a long story. My friend is a mascot with his girlfriend and his son, and he decided to tell me in the morning that he was not available. So I donned the suit and he enjoyed it.
Was it good? You just spent the whole game getting about, or is it just the beginning, the half times, and the end?
No, it was before the game and at half time, and that was enough.
You took it off.
No, it was very good. The kids love it. You know, it was good first time. It was the first time for everything, but never again. And last Saturday, he done the same again, but I managed to get one of the youth team to put it on. So,
that's good.
So, no, it was good. It was good.
Class. Right, so we're going to take a quick break, but we need you to get involved in the show now. Next section is all about you, so give us a call, 0345 111 7625. Get your calls in now. It's 0345 111 7625. We want to know what you think United's chances are of winning the league, and let us know your favourite summer signing. Welcome back to the XS Manchester Football Social. It's the Full-Time Devils takeover. Gents, how are we? Gaz and Webby in the studio, you well?
Yeah, very well.
Fabulous.
So we're talking about the signings we want and the positions in which we want them. Do we know what formation we want yet? Because there's a lot of talk about City playing three at the back. Do we stick with what we were playing last season?
Yeah, but Mourinho's I done the three at the back. I don't like it. Give me 4-4-2 every day, but Mourinho's never played what I've seen of him as a 4-4-2. Obviously at Chelsea he had Dobker up front and Cole sat behind him. He's not going to do that like the same way as last year. There was always someone. I love the 4-4-2, Joe. I think it's a thing of the past now, pat the midfield, pat the 5. I'd love him to go 4-4-2 on Sunday, but I know now he won't. But that's my preferred. I don't know what Gaz thinks.
Do you think there's pressure on managers to play this sort of three at the back? Now that Pep's come in with all shiny new defenders, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, but if you look at the City manager last year, he'd done nothing. So let them do their own. Let's concentrate on our own house. But let's go 4-4-2 and go. I'd let it maybe three at the back in Europe, away, try to nick a point. But not at Old Trafford against West Ham, no, please.
Gaz?
I want to see three in the midfield, though, definitely. Purely so we can say it's MPH, Mata Pogba Herrera.
I knew you'd say something daft by the end of the show. MPH. Go on. It's just for that reason you want MPH. 4-3-3,
mate, that's what I want to see. It works on Football Manager, so... no, I'm joking, of course. But to be honest, I think it's more the style of football. I mean, we've seen Van Gaal play a 4-3-3, and it's been the most dreadful football that I've seen in ages. We've seen Mourinho play it and earlier on last season, and we played really well using that formation. So it all depends on the style, and like Webby was saying, if we need to play three at the back in Europe, Jose's very tactically astute, so I'm sure we'll switch back towards different formations. Hopefully we've got the main thing with this, which is the problem under Van Gaal, is that we need to make sure that the players are intelligent enough to be able to switch back into mid-game, because I think that is a massive integral part of our team, that we need intelligent footballers, and I'm not sure if we've got enough yet. But with Matic and Pogba in that midfield, they are two extremely intelligent footballers.
We've got Adam Sweeney on the line. We're going to get to him soon. I was just scrolling through Twitter to see what's going on, and there's a picture still floating around of a man I want to talk to you about quickly. And I want to know what you think. I think I know what you think. Why does Jose Mourinho consistently want to bring Marouane Fellaini on the pitch when it gets to the 60, 70 minute mark? Maybe I'm missing something. Do you see something I don't?
You've got to look at Fellaini. When he played for Everton against United, you're always thinking, oh no. And it was always an handful against us.
Yeah, true.
It was an handful against us in a lot of matches. The 4-4 draw, which lost us the league. The start of the season on Van Persie's debut, he scores a goal. Obviously, he was only up against Carrick at centre-half.
Yeah.
But for me, do you know what? He gets a lot of unfair criticism. He never slags the club off. He gives 100%, yeah? He'll fight for us. Now, obviously, you ought to bring him on at 60, 70 minutes. We could be 1-0 down and chasing the game. And he is an handful. But give him a chance. There's a lot worse players who have played for my club who should never have been there in the first place. Now, no.
Who? Name him.
So you don't like Marion. I just think that he does a job.
Yeah.
Now, he's not a United midfield player. He was bought in the last minute by Moyes when we panicked. Now, give him a chance. He'll always give us 100%. And now, for me, 100% is not everything.
No.
But he will battle for you, and he'll never come out criticising. He's had a lot of unfair criticism. So let him carry on. Mourinho likes him. I should have been gone.
That was the question. Like, why does Mourinho like him? Do you see a change in the way we play when?
I've got no idea really why Mourinho rates him as much as he does. But at the end of the day, 3 managers I've done, and the 3 managers who know just a little bit more about football than me, apart from maybe Moyes. But Marouane Fellaini as well. I agree with what Webby said. He doesn't moan. He doesn't complain. He gives everything when he is actually on the pitch. Yeah. So fair play to him for that, because there's plenty of players who haven't been like that in recent years. However, in the sort of the same vein as Jesse Lingard, he's a squad player who when we need that option is available, but he shouldn't be playing anywhere near as much as he was last season, and well, since he signed for the club essentially. And I just have a feeling that he will be, because I just don't understand how we can rely on a player who plays in central midfield, who can't dribble, can't pass, can't tackle, and I don't care what anyone says, he's rubbish at heading.
He can't head.
He's rubbish at heading.
He just can't jump. He's 6 foot 10. He can't jump. But
He's like... right, so we need you to call us. Come on, get on the phone at 0345 111 7625. Adam Sweeney's done that. He's a friend of the show, and obviously a regular contributor. Adam, good evening.
How you doing, boys? You good?
And well...
Cut the call.
Why? What's he doing? Adam, do you know why Mourinho keeps playing Marouane Fellaini?
Because he's got the best chest in world football.
Best chest. God.
One thing Gaz missed off, he's talked about his head, he's talked about his feet, he forgot his chest. There is no one that can control a ball better with his chest than Marouane Fellaini.
Yeah, but then when he gets it to the ground, he doesn't know what to do with it, the poor lad.
Why does he need to keep it on the ground?
That's very true.
What, he's just going to carry it forward on his chest?
Yeah, why not? That'd be he's pretty tall. Can you imagine the likes of like midfielders of the world?
Come on, Adam.
Like 5'4".
Adam, Marouane Fellaini getting more than 10 appearances for United in the league. Do you not think that's out of order, though?
I do and I don't. So I think the bigger problem is that we've got players there that are good players. We've got a good squad, but they're not delivering massively all that. You know, last season, Pogba we know can be better. I thought he had a good season. I thought he got some unfair criticism because of the fee, but he didn't have an amazing season. So it's unfair to pinpoint people like Marouane Fellaini, because at the end of the day, if he's getting minutes, it's because there's other players not performing, because he is a squad player. So if he can come on and create the odd chance here and there. Look, don't forget, against Madrid in the week, it was him who created the chance for Matic to get the strike off in the first place. So he does do a job. If other players start picking their performances up and we have a better season with the quality players that we've got, the likes of Mata, Mkhitaryan needs to improve this season. He has to. Pogba the same. And I think they will, but they have to improve. Then Marouane Fellaini doesn't get as many minutes, and he becomes a player that is filling in the gaps here and there. And if you look around the rest of the league, if you look at Spurs, their biggest problem at the minute is trying to bring in squad players that change the game, that do something a little bit different. We've got that in Marouane Fellaini. Should he start games? Absolutely not, unless we're really thin on the ground in terms of players out with injury. But should he be in the squad? Is he an option? Are there many players like him? No. So he's a good option, and I think if managers like Jose Mourinho want to give him a chance, then we've got to almost take that as he's not bad. You know, he can't be that bad. And the big problem he did have was under David Moyes, when for some reason he tried to play him as that holding midfielder.
Well, that was a good answer. I thought he was just going to say no and agree with us. Adam, we're talking about where you think United are going to do, what United are going to do this season. We've all said second or third, fingers crossed. We could be right down to the wire with whoever's top, and we don't want to say the name.
Yeah, City.
All right, City. Yeah. So God. But what do you think?
I mean, I'd agree with that, really. I think top 3 is a good season. I think we've got to be aiming for first, obviously, but you know, top 3 is the the real benchmark, I think. I think Chelsea, United and City are the three clubs that should be aiming for there and should be achieving that. City's big problem. I mean, again, it was touched on by the lads a few minutes ago, and Gaz was asking about, City's back three. I think one of you were talking about City's back three. And look, it wasn't that effective, was it, really? So I think we've got to do a Mourinho job this season. His second season is always a good season, generally speaking.
He's won the league at every... Sorry, Adam.
Well, yeah, exactly. So he's got that ability to form a squad ready for the second season. His first season's always about building. It's always about finding the gaps. This summer's been, 3/4 of what he wants. He's still talking about wanting a winger. I still think we need that in some form, whoever that is. But we've got a good spine now. And we've got a good squad. If you start to find that balance in the side, then all of a sudden I think we do bump up that table. And Lukaku finishing chances. I mean, Ibrahimovic had a cracking season. Don't get me wrong, but his chance conversion was poor. He didn't finish some of the chances that he should have done, and he put pressure on himself at times. He had to then go and rescue games because he'd not killed games off in the first place. So if we can finish chances, you suddenly find us back to where we need to be.
You know what?
Knows how to win titles.
You know what, as well, Adam? You make a really good point there about Ibrahimovic. People have been saying to me, like, do you reckon Lukaku can emulate Ibrahimovic and have just as good a season as he had last year? And I'm thinking, I think he needs to have a better season than Ibrahimovic had last year, because I think towards the end of his tenure, before he got the injury, I thought he was extremely poor, and not just in a way where it was a bad performance by him, but because of how integral his position is to the team, him not performing well was having a negative effect on everyone else in the team.
What it was as well for me, towards the end of what you said, Gaz, he slowed us down.
Yeah,
he slowed us down,
exactly.
And,
that's what I'm saying.
And he was getting players running off him, and he wanted to do too much with the ball. And when he was out of the team, we was very, very quick again. But then, obviously, he got brought back in, and we went back to slow again. And was it a blessing? Don't get me wrong, his goals were great, but it's like now he's talking getting a new contract. Should Manchester United Football Club be waiting on a 36-year-old to get back? No. Thanks for the year. All the best. You've been a great player wherever you've played around the world. Let's not worry about a 36-year-old coming back for the knee injury.
Look, Lukaku last season scored an exceptional number of goals in a side that is seventh at best, and we know that's where they finished last season. I don't think they get into that top six, even with signings. I don't see how they do that. And you look at the chances United created last season, and again, everyone brings up these stats about Paul Pogba. The number of chances he put on a plate for Ibrahimovic, actually, and not just Ibrahimovic, but Ibra specifically. If we can replicate that again and get a little bit better, Pogba can find his feet a little bit more, and there's even more chances created. Lukaku will finish them. And I know he missed the first one in midweek, but then, he gets another chance and he finishes it.
Adam, thank you very much for your call, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys. See you, Adam.
That's
Adam. So, let's just trail ahead, because we've only got a couple of minutes left, to West Ham on the weekend.
Yes.
So, do we go all out? Do we show the Premier League what we're made of? Do we put our best starting 11 out? What does Mourinho do?
First game of the season, yeah. It's got to be. As much as you can do, as attacking as possible, I think, at home to West Ham. Definitely go full out for this. Not just sitting back on a 1-0 in the 60th minute, I want to see us fully show everyone what we've got and put the fear in people a little bit.
Do you think?
Yeah, go for it. I just hope Joe Hart's on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Hart. Obviously Hernandez is coming back, so that linesman's flag will be getting used quite a lot, hopefully. No, we just got to go for it. Just play, don't panic. If it's 0-0 after 70 minutes, don't panic. Play our game and we'll beat West Ham. We've got a better squad, we've got better one-to-one players. Let's play the game, let's get behind the boys, and let's come out of there at 5-6 with 3 points.
It's funny, you've got probably the least intelligent defender in the country coming against the least intelligent striker. Hernandez is good, don't get me wrong, but the amount of times he's offside with how fast he is, he's not the smartest.
Is it not one of these cases where Hernandez will come and he'll come to sort of bite us back in the backside, if you get me?
No, I don't think that. I just think he was harshly treated by Van Gaal. He missed the penalty on the open net in Bruges. The next day we sold him.
It was a penalty, yeah.
And the next day, and you can still see the picture of Giggs, Van Gaal looking at Giggs at the bench. The next day we sold him. He's an out-and-out goal scorer, And I think that was one of the biggest mistakes. If you had Hernandez in our team last year, 8 or 9 of those draws would have been victories. Hence, Newcastle the other year at home would be beaten 4-3.
Yeah.
Hernandez comes on, bags 2.
So, prediction, quickly.
4-1.
4-1?
Oh, 3-1.
3-1.
Go 3-1.
So this is Full-Time Devils on Excess Manchester. Boys, our beautiful faces will be on YouTube, so make sure if you've missed any of the show, you give that a watch. Finally, can we just get because we'll draw back on this on May, so where are United going to finish? Just need a number.
Second,
we're filming this. Second. We've got that. Webby, where are United going to finish?
Second or third.
Second or third?
No,
Say it, Joe. Say it, Joe.
Should we all say second? We're all in it together. Are we all in it together?
Are you going to say second?
Yeah, I'll say second. Second will be good. All right, so this has been the Excess Manchester Football Social, the Full-Time Devils edition. We will tweet out a link to the podcast. That'll be up very, very shortly. So all you have to do is go into our Facebook page and our Twitter pages and follow the link. Please subscribe. It'll mean a lot to us. And then subscribe to the Full-Time Devils YouTube channel. We'll see you next week.